Next up is the Pittsburgh Panthers. Really, 2024 was a tale of two halves for Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh started off the year 7-0, and they were number 18 in the AP poll. And then after that, 7-0, they finished 7-6. They lost their final 6 games of the season, including the bowl game. Still, even with a brutal 6-game losing streak to end the year, still a nice improvement from their 3-9 season in 2023. Pitt has now had a winning season in 5 of the last 6 years under Pat Narduzzi, and will be looking for another one in 2025. They'll need significant improvement from their offense to do so. They are only 114th in PFF grade as a unit last year. But Dalton, the strength of this team is the second level of their defense.
Well, the strength of this team is generally, with Pat Narduzzi as their head coach, is generally their defense, in some fashion. But this linebacker room, especially Kyle Lewis and Rasheem Biles, they're the tone setters for this team. They're the stars of this team. 2 of the top 10 linebackers in the country, your number 3 linebacker unit in the country, and rightfully so. They've got, I think the big thing that jumps out to me when I watch the entire crew, speed.
Yeah.
They have got team speed on defense. Obviously, they're aggressive in the secondary with the way Narduzzi plays his coverages, but these linebackers, Lewis and Biles especially, they're difference makers, and they're a serious problem when it comes to them flying around the field, making plays on the football, run or pass, it doesn't matter. One of the few linebacker units that I feel good about, both in the run game and in coverage.
Yeah, Lewis, my number 5 linebacker in the country. We'll talk about him later. Rasheem Biles, number 10. Pitt's the only school in America that had 2 of my top 10 linebackers in the country. You could make an argument they're the number 1 linebacker unit in the country. They're number 3 for me, but could definitely make an argument they're number 1. Best linebacker unit easily in the ACC next year. Speed at linebacker. They have speed at running back in Desmond Reed too, but the question mark is, what is the offense outside of Desmond Reed? Because we'll talk about him. He's a top 10 running back in the country. But everywhere else, Eli Holstein, 57.1 passing grade last year. Offensive line, 60 grade as a unit last year, which was 112th in the country. They were also 107th in receiving grade last year, and they lost a top wide receiver in Kanata Mumfield to the NFL, and their top tight end in Gavin Bartholomew to the NFL too. So outside of Desmond Reed, I have a lot of questions on offense, including Dalton at quarterback. Eli Holstein has a lot of fans in NFL draft circles because of his tools, but it was still an up and down year for him last year.
He does have tools. He can throw the ball downfield. You talk about throwing the ball outside the numbers and down the sidelines. That's where 10 of his 12 big-time throws went last year, were at or outside the numbers. So he definitely has the arm strength to push it down the field and outside. The other thing, too, he's not a part of the design run game too often, more of a scrambler when he does run, but 6.7 yards per carry was 12th among qualified quarterbacks. So he's got some athleticism to him if he gets loose. The biggest thing I'm going to talk about with Eli Holstein is ball security. Now, on the surface, he only threw 7 interceptions. This is where PFF comes in. 5.3% turnover-worthy play rate, highest in the ACC. 10 dropped interceptions that he threw, tied for the most in the country. The ball security, if it doesn't improve, I think the regression monster could hit when it comes to the interception total. You cannot put the ball in danger this often. If you're over 5% on the turnover-worthy play rate, first of all, you're not an NFL quarterback.
No.
That's just where it's at. Guys with 5+% turnover-worthy play rates are not NFL quarterbacks. Also, too high a variance to win ball games. The last thing I'm going to throw out there with regarding that, third down, got to be better. 27.9 passing grade on third down with 10 turnover-worthy plays, both the worst in the country right there. So he's got talent. Obviously, pocket passer, solid athlete who can scramble. He's a sneaky scrambler. Ball security's everything. He has that turnover-worthy play rate. Honestly, he's got to cut that maybe in half to really get Pitt where they need to go. I got to see it. I mean, that's the big thing. It's the big thing is when I watch some of them and I just go, you just can't have those. There's certain ones where I just go, you can't have that. He's got to clean up the ball security or he's going to get caught with some regression this year.
He had a lot of turnover luck last year, that's for sure. A lot of tools, though, so we're excited to see what he could do as an encore because he's still a very young kid, too. It's worth mentioning that. He was a very highly rated recruit coming out of high school, but you mentioned Dalton. It was an up-and-down year for him last year, and the raw stats don't really paint the whole picture with Eli Holstein last year. All right, my offensive player spotlight is obviously going to be Desmond Reed. He is the best receiving back in college football right now. He was excellent at Western Carolina, transferred to Pitt last year, and he led all running backs in the country with 580 receiving yards. 540 yards after the catch. Only Cam Scadaboo had more than Desmond Reed. He's smaller. He's 5'8". He's a $175. That'll likely keep him from being an every down back in the NFL. But it's worth mentioning, he still was fourth among all ACC running backs last year with a 23% forced missed tackle rate, and he returned a punt for a touchdown too. He is simply an electric player who should be designed touches any way possible as a runner, as a receiver, in the return game. I was such a big fan of Desmond Reed's tape. I think right now, Dawn, he's a top 10 running back in the country. Reminds me a lot of last year with Brashard Smith at SMU.
That's a good call. And Reed obviously has more experience as a running back than Brashard Smith did. But Smith is really built like a receiver. Reed, he's built like a back. He's just really compact, right? You think, it's just some guys. Doesn't matter the size. They're just good football players, right? And Reed's one of those guys. Worked his way up, transferred in from Western Carolina, and was their best offensive player pretty easily last year. I agree with you. He's a problem when it comes to if you're playing man-to-man, you better not leave a linebacker on him because you don't have Pitt's linebackers. No. You don't have a guy like Kyle Lewis, right, who can cover somebody like that. And let's talk about Kyle Lewis on the defensive side right now. And look, same thing. A little bit undersized for a linebacker, 225 pounds, but, man, is he a darn good football player. And speed is the theme with him, and he can do anything on the field, and even being a bit undersized, not afraid to get physical. One of 6 FBS linebackers with an 80-plus grade in run defense and in coverage. He's just a guy who just does everything for you. He's athletic enough to do everything you ask him to do. He's physical enough, and I like him as the weak side guy, the weak side linebacker in this defense because it allows him to run and chase, and a lot of times he is unblocked, and even for that size, he's an excellent tackler. He's aggressive downhill, and he's got the speed to work in coverage. Kyle Lewis is one of the few linebackers in the country who can do everything.
Yeah, he can move like a slot corner, honestly. It's crazy how well he moves at 225. He's, like I said, a top 5 linebacker in the country right now. All right, Dalton, the win total for Pitt is set at 6.5 right now. So will they go above that? And they were 7-5 last year, right? So they were above that last year. Will they go above that next year, or will they go below that? What's the bottom line for the Pitt Panthers?
The bottom line is that's a pretty solid projection, I think.
I think I'm going to go under.
I think I'm leaning under as well. The offense, other than Reed, doesn't have a whole lot I can trust.
Yeah.
And the way last year, they lost their last 6 games last year.
Yeah.
When's the last time we've seen that? They won 7 in a row to start, and then they lost 6 in a row to finish, including the bowl game to Toledo. I'm going to go under. First 2 games they should win. The backyard brawl will be fun this year because West Virginia was winning that game last year at Pitt, and they blew it with their secondary. I'm going to go under. I have a hard time. I know there's some scouts that like Holstein, but I have a hard time trusting him. The ball security worries me big time. The passing game worries me.
I'm worried with this offense everywhere besides Desmond Reed right now. Offensive line, Holstein's got to be better. Receiving core, I'm worried with that offense right now. And they have some defensive questions too besides linebacker, right? So that's another thing too. So I'll go under. 6-6 is possible. I think 6-6 is probably what I project for this team, but I don't think they're going to go 7-5 again like they did last year. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.